this is Irina Strunina, and we are starting our podcast that we do every Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. And today we have a very special guest. It's Joanne Collins. You probably seen her multiple times on our events. She is very frequent guest and publisher of posts and comments in our Facebook group, Diabetes 101 for Beginners. Welcome, Joanne.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm really happy to be here today. I'm very excited.
Excellent. Thank you. And the topic today that I choose that we need to discuss, and it's not only for today, this is a very important topic when we're talking about diabetes, because I have a firm belief that diabetes is a team sport. It's very, very hard to manage it if you do not have a support team, if you do not have people who actually holding your back, supporting you, people who you can speak with, people who can help you understand you, not choose, but understand that you struggle and they forgive you different slip-offs that good.
Yeah.
Therefore, the topic for today's conversation will be support. And I can tell you that Joanne, I just told her before we started the show that if you take a dictionary and you look up the word support there, you'll see her picture on it because she is the support person, realization what it is. So let me ask you, Joanne.
Okay.
How did you become such a supportive person, such a person who is really going above and beyond to support people on anything, not necessarily diabetes, but anybody has a challenge? Joanne is number one here, knocking in the door. Do you need help?
Well, I'll try to tell that story as quickly as I possibly can. But it was something that was ingrained in me ever since I was a young kid. And specifically with regard to diabetes, it came into play when one of my best little girlfriends in the neighborhood that I grew up in got diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. And her mother and my mother would get together, a couple times a week, and they'd watch TV shows and stuff like that. And my friend got really sick and had to go to Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, I believe it was. And she got diagnosed with diabetes and came home from the hospital. Her mother was distraught. They had to do insulin. They had to manage the diet very carefully. Exercise was super important. And one of the things that happened is that my friend's mom would come over to our house and say, hey, we have to go for a walk. We just ate dinner. We have to go for a walk. And my mom would say, oh, I don't feel like it. But my friend would really want to go. And I'd say, Mom, come on. No, we got to help him out. Let's go for a walk. It'll be fun. We can find rocks and we can play and, do stuff on the walk and you guys can talk. And that's kind of how it got started. And then when I was a little older, my aunt was diagnosed with diabetes and also had to start taking insulin and started having vision trouble and could not draw up the insulin correctly. So she started asking me to do it. I was 12 years old at the time, but I was okay, I'll do it, and it just kind of went from there. And I've just had sort of a lifelong just passion for helping people, particularly with their health and wellness.
Absolutely. Thank you. And for those who maybe does not know, she has a lot of healthcare education. So she is as you could see on the screen, board certified health coach, but she also a public health educator. She is specializing in diabetes management. She has over 2 decades of direct. She is a researcher. She is writing a book. She is doing all sorts of things. And today, let me ask this well-educated lady a few questions. And the first question would be, why is it important for you to create a support system while managing your diagnosis of type 2 diabetes?
Well, I would say that, as cheesy as it sounds, there's a saying that no man is an island, right? You can kind of try to be an island if you're, Tom Hanks playing the character in the movie Castaway, and you can maybe kind of survive, but we all need a community of people around us that are going to support us. And when it comes to managing diabetes, it is in fact a life-changing diagnosis, right? You are going to have to reevaluate like how you show up in the world. You need people around you that are going to facilitate that process, encourage that process. If you are in an environment where you have people that are constantly criticizing you or putting you in situations that are not helpful in supporting your health decisions, that can become really depressing, discouraging, and it's like trying to push a boulder up a hill by your own self, right? And then you have like everybody like putting stuff in your way of trying to get up that hill. It just makes it more difficult. And the folks that I've worked with over the entire course of my healthcare career, all the way from when I first got started at a very young age till now, the people that have really good supportive networks around them, whether that's family, friends, church, work too. Work's a big thing. We should probably talk about that some. But when you have those really good supports in place, your success capacity increases exponentially. And there's a really strong relationship between that positivity that you get from the outside, from having people that kind of like hold you up and support you, and then getting the courage and strength in your own head to keep pushing forward when times get tough, because you have that support network, and it might be multiple of them, but you have those helping you keep yourself, afloat, essentially.
Absolutely. Yes, I totally agreeing with you. And it's definitely about everyone around you. You don't ask everyone for support, but once you have few people who understand the challenges that you're facing, because it is a life-changing event, and unfortunately not everybody take it this way. They just like, oh, that's another pill that I have to take, or well, like, oh, well, I guess I need to get shots now. And with this attitude, people are not exactly progressing, they just holding on. But those who want to get the results, those who want to get a handle of it and be the in charge of the life they have, the health condition they have, those people, they do need support system as well. They may be very strong, but even the strongest person in the world periodically has the weak moments.
And sometimes that tension, that sometimes that support can actually be misdirected. And I'll give a case study of sorts that just happened with me yesterday. Or was it the day before yesterday? Either way, just happened, where someone had reached out to me needing some help, and I hadn't heard from this person in a long time. And they were upset because they have great doctors. They have, supplies and things that they need, but the family was constantly, can you eat this? Can you eat that? Can you, oh, no, she can't eat that. Oh, don't, oh, no. I want to make this. Oh, no, she can't eat that. And it actually created anxiety for them because this particular person wanted to kind of be invisible and they didn't want to be the center of attention. And now all of these family gatherings and different things revolving all around what they could and could not eat. And it just made things really uncomfortable. So there's a delicate balance with support. And this is where education comes into play. The family and friends and people that care really need to educate themselves about the dynamics of this disease.
I love your answer. And I tell you why. Because this is such a great way to my next question that I have. Here you go. The question is, as a caregiver,
I just talk.
I know. So, and occasionally I interrupt you. So here is my interruption. As a caregiver, how do you support someone who has support, can provide support, can offer the support, so people don't feel anxious, people don't feel offended, people don't feel sorry that they said it? How caregivers can do that, how they can support in the most effective and appreciated way?
Well, that's a little bit of a complex question to answer. And that is partly,
I know you can manage it.
I'm going to do the best that I can, but that in part is how the personality and learning style of the person is that has gotten the diagnosis of diabetes. Some people really need friendly little nudges and little reminders. Some people do not want to be asked at all about how they're doing, but they want you to be conscientious of the fact that they have diabetes. So what that looks like is, so for a person that like is opposed to being bugged about the fact that they have diabetes, when you have like family gatherings, parties, work things, whatever it might be, make some food items that you have taken the time to look and make sure that that's going to be a healthy choice for that person as best as you possibly can. We're not dietitians, so we can't prescribe stuff like that, but you can look for healthy, whole, real food options to bring to parties, whether it's your family or work or whatever. But don't make it the center of attention. Don't be like, oh my God, I knew you were diabetic, so I made you this. Don't do that. Just bring the item. And then you can casually say, hey, I made this food. You want to try it? There's no judgment. There's no pressure. There's just casual, I made something, right? Some people need the reminders, but they don't want to hear those reminders in like a condescending, like parental kind of tone. Like one of the people that I spoke to recently said that their parent was calling them, and the person's like my age, and I'm a lot older than I look. But the parent's like, why is your blood sugar high? Psh, no, don't do that. Hi, I was wondering how you were feeling. Do you need anything? Just keep it really super simple. But the most important thing is ask more questions than you start throwing out advice. Because then it kind of is like you're wagging the finger at that person. They're going to take it as a judgment. And then they're going to react in one of two ways. Either they're going to feel terrible and they're going to internalize that, which could potentially cause them to eat stuff they probably shouldn't or do other things they probably shouldn't. Or they're going to get angry about it the result is going to be the same. They're going to do things they shouldn't do, that they know they shouldn't, as an act of rebellion. So you don't want to push people in that fashion. Ask questions and truly listen to what they're actually saying. Do not listen to respond. Listen to what they're saying. See if you can get the sense. So for example, like let's say you're a woman and you're married and your husband is diabetic, and your husband calls you and says, "Oh, darn it, I'm just so stressed out. The job was terrible today, and I'm going to go stop at the Kentucky Fried Chicken." Well, what happened today? A lot of people will often make the mistake of, Kentucky Fried Chicken, you can't have that. Don't do that. How can I help you? What happened? Do you want to talk about it? I've got stuff here at the house that I can make you. When you come in, I'll make you something really nice. Like, so it's really like just being conscientious and listening to what the person is saying, and with the intent to understand, not to chastise them for their choices.
Yeah. Yeah, I do know, and my children still reminding me. My husband used to say that help is very appreciated when it's given at the time and in a shape that it was asked for. Don't try to throw your help at the person when person is not prepared to receive the help. That's kind of shuffling your attention at them when people busy with something else. They're not really prepared to react properly at your suggestions. And the other thing that I found helpful for myself, it is education, because it just happened that he was going to doctors and I was staying at home with kids. I didn't have an ability to get to this doctor's office and hear what doctor is saying, what doctor is recommending, what they're discussing there. And if I did not try to educate myself, I will be totally clueless, at least from these bits of information that he will bring to me, because he wouldn't bring everything. I would at least have an idea what is going on.
Well, and that brings me to another aspect of providing support, especially if you're a family member. May not apply necessarily if you're like a coworker, or just like, like a kind of casual friend. Family and close circle people, offer to go to the doctor with the person that you love. Not because you're trying to be nosy, but you want to understand so that you can help them understand, and then you are a second brain in that room. So you might have a question they didn't think of. You talk about that with them later and they're like, "Oh yeah, I didn't think to ask the doctor about that." Then you have something to go research about, right? You have something to look up. And also make sure that you understand exactly what their healthcare provider has said they should do. I see this day in and day out, that people go to the doctor by themselves and they walk out completely confused. Well, my doctor handed me this paper, but I don't really understand what it says. And I'm supposed to take this medicine, but they didn't really give me instructions. They didn't tell me anything. They just told me to come back in 3 months, and I don't know what I'm supposed to do. See if you can be that, second brain for that person. Don't let your spouse go to, unless they're adamantly opposed to you going, offer to go and say, "Hey, it's up to you. I'm here to be your advocate, to listen on your behalf. And if you don't understand something, and I, knowing you, can see that you don't understand, I'm the person that can ask clarifying questions when we're in that exam room or whatever place we're at receiving care." That is so critical. It really, really is.
Definitely very helpful. And I do know, because once I started going to doctor's offices with my husband, it's become, for me at least, much easier to provide the help and support that he definitely needed. And I didn't have to double guess. And sometimes I also noticed that people, when you ask the clarifying question, not the doctor, but the person, unfortunately, they often take it as you're challenging them rather than you are just, I didn't get it. Because the other option is go and check with Dr. Google, which is not necessarily will be the the answer you need.
Right.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. We have one more question and then we have some announcement to make. We have very few minutes left. So let's go on. Similar question, just different angle. What is the best
Okay.
way to request support from a caregiver? This is, so first we were discussing with you and talking like we are caregivers and we need to learn how we can offer support. But now we are caregivers and there are certain ways how we can understand the question. What would be the best way to ask your caregiver for support and receive the support? Not like go and check with Google or cook on your own. You know this is your problem. Uh, what would be your suggestion?
Well, also for me, a little bit of a complex question because I'm a clinician, so I've been trained to like the clinician hat like never comes off ever. But the for the patient and or client, for you to communicate to the person that you're talking to, number one, you have to be honest. You have to be clear about what it is that you actually need or feel like you need or want in that moment. If you're not honest, then we're just shooting arrows in the dark. We don't know what direction to send you in. So, and I'm going to throw my husband under the bus with this because this is another reason why I'm extra passionate about the topic of diabetes is because my husband is a type 2 diabetic, was diagnosed in 2012. And my husband is a bit of a stoic and very quiet. And you have to figure out how to ask the question in the right way to get information from him. And so for years we'd go, he'd be like all grumpy or what, and I'd be like, "What's wrong?" "Nothing." Are you feeling okay?" "I'm just tired." Right? If you're having a problem, "I'm just tired," doesn't exactly help. So you have to be prepared to say, "I'm really stressed out right now and I feel like binging on this food," or "I am confused and I don't know if my blood sugar's low. Can you check? I am confused about what I'm supposed to eat. I felt like I wanted to try this method of eating. Can we go ahead and try this?" And in some other aspects, I need you to not bring that bag of chips or box of cookies into this house because I know that I'm going to tear into it if you bring it in here. Please don't do that. If you love me and respect me, you will not do that to me. And then it's going to be a matter of having, that open discussion. And I've seen both sides of this where the, person that has diabetes, their other half, spouse or kids or parents or whoever want to criticize them all day long. And then on the other side, we have people that the family want to, just bring all the, food and ugly stuff that they shouldn't have. And they're not paying attention. So it's up to us as individuals to advocate for ourselves and to stand up for ourselves and say, you know what? I don't like this. Y'all can go ahead and do what you want to do, but leave me out of it if that's what you're going to do. I have the following requirements. I have the following needs. Help me or get out of my way. And then, with regard, particularly with regard to like going to the doctor's appointments and stuff like that, ask them to clarify for you if the doctor said something that you didn't understand. Don't allow the mindset to come in of, well, my friend or my family member is not my boss. They're not going to tell me what to do. If you don't understand something, ask them. What did you hear during that conversation? Here's what I heard. Is that correct? And, just go from there. And certainly if you're finding that you're not having support at home, especially if you find that you're having sort of an adversarial relationship, where somebody is kind of like, continuing to bring stuff in the house that you don't want in there, or, putting you in situations that make you uncomfortable, definitely you got to talk to somebody, preferably a licensed healthcare professional that has a background in working with, psychology and, that kind of thing that can work with you more deeply with that. But you've got to stand up for yourself, because at the end of the day, there are a few people that will do it for you.
Definitely. So thank you. What I hear that, again, we kind of like circled around and came back, that diabetes is a team sport. And
Yes.
In every successful team, the key to success is communication, clear communication, making sure that clear message was sent and the message was received. And then when this connection happens, that's when the success comes, when the results show up, this is when people feel supported, this is when people satisfied with the help that they're providing, and that's altogether everybody happy, and that's it. Good. It's time to wrap up. I'm receiving messages from our producers. So first
I'm
of
sorry,
all,
I talked too much.
nah, we managed. So you have a few seconds to make your announcements. How people can connect with you. We know that you have plenty of experience and knowledge. I'm pretty sure some of our listeners will say, I need to talk to this lady. How they can connect with you, and also real brief, what is coming up? Because I know that something major coming up in your life. Real brief.
Very brief.
Yes.
If anybody wants to ask me questions or needs help, you're welcome to email me at healthcoachingwithjj@gmail.com. Feel free to send me an email. And I'll get to it as soon as I can. I'm pretty good about getting in the emails and checking and things like that. So, probably within a couple hours, I'll see your message and respond as best as I can. And you can contact me there for, just general questions, or if you need references, resources, or if you want like my direct coaching services. I am in the middle, not even the middle. I'm like almost done writing a comprehensive diabetes workbook for beginners. So basically, this is going to be sort of like your Bible when you first get diagnosed, or if you got diagnosed, didn't care, and now you're finally start wanting to get serious. This book is going to have a 90-day health tracker in it for you so that you can record all your stuff and take it to your doctor. You follow the workbook. You're going to have bits and pieces of information.
Okay, hold on. We will have an event announcing about your book. But before that, we will have an event that's coming up on May 27th, last Saturday of the month. It will be Global Virtual Health Fair. It's actually Diabetic Healthcare Expo, the second name. And we will have doctors, experts, possibly Joanne, other dietitians, nutritionists talking about life with diabetes, how to help yourself, how to be successful with diabetes. And we have our every Thursday our Diabetically Speaking with SmartMove360 podcast. And I wanted to say thank you to our producers, the life motivation, and where is my slide? And on balance entertainment. These are people who are helping us to go live, to look good, to sound great, deliver the message, and share it with you. Have a great rest of the week. I'll see you next Thursday. Bye bye, and thank you, Joanne, for joining me.
My pleasure.